Dexter number 1. Written by best-selling author Jeff Lindsay.
A brand new series. Dexter Morgan is not just an above-average forensic blood splatter expert. He's also Miami's friendly neighborhood crime-fighting serial killer. The Skid Row slasher is racking up quite the body count. The rookie has given good old Dexter a run for his money.
Jeff Lindsay, Dalibor Talajak, Ivy Svorchkinya.
Marvel.
Welcome, dear listener, to our podcast. Jeff and Rick present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack,
where we journey through each issue of comics that include a member of the most underrated Marvel series from the 80s while drinking beer.
analyzing awesome and amazing adjacent adolescent adventures, and absorbing alcohol.
I'm Jeff.
And I am Rick.
Can I borrow your random banter for a sec? My car just hit a water buffalo. Random banter time, buddy. Talk to me, tell me tall tales and tantalizing tidbits of trivia today.
That is from the movie Fletch, and it is
Correct.
Fletch talking to a woman, asking to borrow her towel as an excuse to get her to take off the towel.
Exactly. She was fresh from a shower.
Fresh from a shower, which will happen a couple times in this issue.
Yep. You know why I added it in.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one right there, my friend.
Yep, it was that or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy discussion about a towel, but I decided to go for the one that was
option. Yeah,
the very classier option that really tied into the issue at hand. I don't know what happened to this, but just a lot of shower. A lot of shower time.
Well, let's see here. It is the week of Thanksgiving when we were recording this, and I was just explaining to my co-host here that we are not doing Thanksgiving at my house this year. No, in fact, my wife and I were talking about ordering in some food. We're going to find some place that will deliver us some food and call it good. But we're not going to worry about Thanksgiving itself, because the day after we are going to have a couple of friends over to celebrate some Friendsgiving. Just people come over day after Thanksgiving, have a nice, friendly, easygoing little potluck meal. We're going to have about 24 people over at our house. I am going to deep fry at least 2 turkeys. I think I'm going to deep fry some Indian fried bread.
Yum.
We say 24 people, and that's kind of the estimate we're going for, but then tonight I invited 3 more people, because why not at this point in time? I mean, who even cares anymore?
Yeah, when you start figuring percentages at that point, and 3 more people kind of like,
I have 18 places set up in my front living room. I know that I'm going to put up another table with another 6 more places. So any additional people, I mean, we'll send them downstairs.
Yep. Somewhere they can eat out on the stoop or out in the back, barbecue or something.
I'm just going to send Jeff outside to sit alone by himself, eating just on our back porch, just sobbing quietly into his food. Just the tears will salt and flavor all of his food.
I will naturally brine my food, going, all by myself. Wait, this is wonderful. It's quiet and peaceful. How nice.
Or he's like, thank you. Can I have another, sir?
Yeah, it's like, this is good. This is right. I could go down the hill and go down to the pet cemetery and have a little, see if I can resurrect some turkey bits. Yeah,
just alone time with you and the dead animal. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be great. I could look down at the Scudge Pond and eat some turkey and drink a beverage and I could just be one with the world. Might be kind of nice.
The raccoons will come out at a certain point in time and they will keep you company.
Yeah, it's going to be a regular Disney film for me. It's going to be great.
Yes, I guess I will be happy to see you and your family on Friday.
We'll get lost in the crowd.
Uh-huh.
We'll be happy to see you, and you can obscure the vision of us with somebody else. You'll have 24 other people that you'll be able to put in between us, so you'll be safe.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. This got completely out of control, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't know each other. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a party. What's up with you?
Getting to be the holiday season. I'm looking at neighbors putting up Christmas lights. I'm like, oh man, I got to get on that. Trying to prep up for Thanksgiving ourselves and open a room to do cooking and store stuff. And it's just been a bunch. But when I get to squeeze away, I'm just squeezing in some more Lower Decks. I'm up to season 5. I'm about halfway through that. And man, that is just still such a delightful show. I cannot praise that show enough. So good.
And thank you, Rick, for downloading all the episodes from the most recent season for me.
Oh, mystery man of the computer who generated such content for me to observe. Oh, thank you. Person who I will never know or be able to thank in person. I'm watching it on Rick's Plex server. It's amazing and great. Thank you so much for letting me have access to that. I do appreciate it a lot. And it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
It doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's a fun little, just don't need to worry about it streaming service, which is pretty fantastic.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that does hurt. It's listening to you torture words together in a way that resembles sentences. But we're going to go ahead and see how you do with this by giving us a 2-sentence replay from last episode.
The replacement team is on deck to watch the Fantastic Four jaunt off on a 4-minute excursion to find a cure for their cosmic cancer, and absolutely everyone is shocked when they miss the return window, making Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Medusa, and Darla Deering Marvel's official first family. Their first mission is to hide in the Baxter building, hoping that this will all blow over, but are forced out when Mole Man and Giganto burst forth on the street below them to yell about how they are imposters and super lame idiot dumbheads that smell like old socks and are as dumb as a sack of Ben Grimm's toenail clippings. Now that the issue ends with a possible Human Torch variant bursting out of the chronostellar manifold and destroying it while yelling that the Fantastic Four are dead, 2-sentence replay is over. Why don't you give me a beer and tell us what our power pack pick is?
My pleasure, my friend. Why don't you reach in that bag and see what the universe throws out at you from that Chronos manifold thingamajiggy?
Let's find out. It is, Sparks India Pale Ale by T. That's a colorful can. That is really great. That is a just vibrant purples and oranges and yellows and blues and pinks and stuff. It's a big space cosmic scape, planets in the background, and it looks like a down spaceship or something in there in the foreground. Just lots of just Mobius-esque art style. And why would there be sparks? Oh, I know why. Because there might be a little bit of sparks going on between Darla Deering and Scott Lang, or also there's sparks of contention between Mole Man and the Moloids. It's probably for the space background.
Space background. There's Threshold, which we have the threshold that John Storm crossed over to get here. You've got the interstellar space that they left, where John's going to tell us a story about what happened there. It just looks like a cool can. I needed a place to put it, so I put it with this issue.
No, this works out great, and that's what the T stands for, is Threshold Brewing and Blending.
Here at Threshold, we're pushing the boundaries. Our beers are bursting with flavor and aroma, featuring modern hop-forward styles alongside new wave Central European offerings. A nod to our Polish heritage. And this is 6% alcohol by volume. So yes, that's what we got going here.
And that smells like an IPA. It is very fresh and kind of citrusy, but very much that pine needle kind of scent. Very pale, kind of hazy, very bubbly, small head on it. A lovely wheat color. Again, smells like an IPA.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that. It is an IPA through and through. That's what we smell. Let's see if we can taste the Polish heritage in here.
Kielbasa-y.
No, I'm not getting kielbasa.
No, I'm getting IPA.
It's a smooth IPA.
It drinks good. It has those pine notes or juniper notes.
Yeah.
Again, it's an IPA. There is a bit of basement dank that goes in on the mid aftertaste.
Yeah, but it's not overpowering. A little bit of rusted metal taste, fine.
Yeah.
Very much the junipers, like you said. It's very muted, though. It's just a clean, crisp beer.
It is very crisp, is a great describer of it. Goes down easy, does not taste too bad. It is an IPA. It's a decent IPA. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I don't mind it too much. I really don't.
No, it doesn't. It's got a bit of that tangly tart going to it, that IPA kind of thing, but it isn't making my face suck into itself. It's not making me go, oh boy. It's not challenging.
No.
It is a pleasant flavor, but it is not a challenging drink. So, I don't know. It's decent.
It's got bitter notes, but it's not curling your face.
Yeah. Bitter notes, but not bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very mild IPA. It is decent. That's what I'm getting. It's almost a lager IPA.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah, it's like a lager IPA half and half.
Yeah, I like the fact that it is smooth and easy to drink. 6% ABV, that's a little higher up there, too. So
I think IPAs tend to be a little bit lower than that.
Yeah, so I think it's a fun little beer.
Yeah, it's a fine beverage on a fine night for drinking.
Not sure how that's going to really mix with the German pancakes I had for dinner, but, whatever.
We're making it work.
These are the choices we make with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we are done getting a beer, let's move on to the opening credits, if you please.
FF Volume 2, Issue Number 3, March 2013, Old John Storm. Credits: Writer, Matt Fraction. Penciler, Michael Allred. Inker, Michael Allred. Colorist, Laura Allred. Letterer, Clayton Cowles. Editors, Tom Brevoort, Lauren Segovich, Jake Thomas.
Featuring Ant-Man, She-Hulk, Medusa, Darla Deering, Alex Power, Bentley, Dragon Man, Leech, Artie, Onami, Turg, Tong, Core, Milk, Vil, Woo, Old John Storm, Wyatt Wingfoot.
Immediately following, and we're talking still wearing a robe and dripping water on the carpet, a shower to wash off the stink of interdimensional travel, Cable takes a moment to chat with the new Fantastic Four and the Future Foundation.
I hate to be that guy, but I think you mean Old John Storm. I did just read out who is in this book.
No way, Rick. That white-haired old guy who is missing his left eye and has a metallic left arm and has a metallic leg has to be the X-Men's time-hopping mutant named Nathan Christopher Charles Summers Dayspring Asconison.
Well, I can see where the confusion might be coming from, but this is not the long-name, time-displaced man of pouches, shoulder pads, and big old guns.
Let's agree to disagree.
Old John Storm is weaving a tale that the rest of the Fantastic Four went to the old farm beyond the veil of space and time, but he is back to fight the upcoming evil of his past. So, what's next?
First, Scott tries to get the kids to leave, but when that fails, he asks the old guy for some details on how the first family found their fatal finality.
Quick single-panel art explains that Reed rolled a failure to save against turning into jelly in a mixer, Sue drowned in a bubble of water, Ben went into a black hole, and John ran away after losing a leg, a hand, and an eye during a fight with Doom, the Annihilating Conqueror.
Doom the we need just a bit more information on that last name there, Rick.
Okay, that is easy. Victor Von Doom, Nihilus, and Kang the Conqueror all met up and did a Wonder Twins high five and merged together, or something. That unholy amalgamation powered up beyond the tech spec's ability to rate and started to spank people on an epic level.
This old guy ran, shut the temporal door behind him, and is now on a mission to destroy the components to save the future. Starting with one Victor Von Doom.
Speaking of which, Old John Storm wants to know how this new team is planning on disposing of Doom.
In answer to that question, Scott lays out a few other directives above the disposing of a doctorally decorated dictator.
This includes the Fish Kids doing the dishes, Dragon Man needing to dust, we need to find Darla, the Moloids are missing and that's not good. Oh, and maybe I should really verify who this guy is.
Again, Rick, we covered this. It's Cable.
No, he isn't. Maybe he is. Probably not, though.
Let's just start with the Moloids, though. They have sunk to a new low, or returned home. One of those two. Anyway, they're back in the subterranean caverns again to have a few words with the Mole Man.
Okay, so it appears that the big fight with Giganto and the Mole Man that occurred last episode was set up through a deal with the Moloids and their old master Mole Man. He needed something called the Star Heart, which they stole from the Fantastic Four and are bringing to him. And he did the fight that brought the new FF together as a distraction for said theft.
The Moloids do not know why Mole Man needs this heavy thing, but they know it will lead to a failed plan that will require them to go and save him in the future.
This may or may not be true. I am not really sure who is more arrogant and self-absorbed between the Moloids, Mole Man, or Jeff.
Could be any one of us. The mystery abounds. But otherwise, the four Moloid traders travel back to the surface where they see She-Hulk lifting some heavy metal.
She's lifting Metallica?
No. Just metal machinery that's heavy. And with that, the Moloids have found their replacement for their lost idol, the Ben, as they stare at Shulky and chant, "The Gen."
Meanwhile at a rock concert.
Home of the fighting. Well, what the heck are those dancers on stage wearing?
Yeah, I don't understand modern pop music. And I grew up in the 80s with MTV. Darla has a giant blue elephant head hanging like a backpack on her, while her backup singers and band are all wearing a variety of pastel-colored animal heads as her young fans freak out on the dance floor.
And those young fans are all vampires.
How did you develop that nifty theory?
Well, all these adoring fans are wearing sunglasses and are way, way, way too pretty.
They could all be Corey Hart clones.
And you said that the 80s music was not bizarre.
I just said that it was not this bizarre.
After the concert, Darla is back in her dressing room post-shower, wrapped in a towel.
Take a drink, because there are a lot of people in post-shower casual in this issue.
But they are clean, so I'll allow it.
Darla is thinking about what a coward she is. She is on a successful run of shows, but she does not feel like she deserves any of this.
I feel the same way, except I'm not successful. Rick says I can't sing, and I abhor showers.
But she does have time to critique the cheapness of one of her fans by mocking the one small plant in a room full of gifted flowers.
As well she should. She is a pop sensation, and should be treated as royalty. Cheap, $20, sad, potted plants are not going to cut it.
Especially when they are covered in ants. Well, okay, one ant. All right, one ant man. She can't really see him either. But she does see his note, which is corny and dumb and simple, and it causes her to cry.
As she starts to cry on the couch, someone comes to her door with a mysterious package and runs off before giving her any information about it. And because she's a brand new superstar and a brand new superhero, she opens this box that is from some people called the Yancey Street Gang.
Spooch!
There are a number of things that happen at once. Ant-Man grows to full size and knocks the barely clothed Darla to the floor. The box erupts with a whipped cream / fudge / drywall mixture that covers most of the room. And this book begins to emit a bom chicka wow wow bass line for some reason.
Pretty sure there's no mature audience only tag on it, which is the only reason Scott does not remove Darla's towel to clean himself off.
Scott does quickly move Darla past the "why were you creeping around my room while I was showering?" questions by explaining that this was a bomb and that he just saved her.
Also, there are 3 yahoos from the Yancey Street Gang wearing cheap plastic thing masks who jump in the room to finish off the scare tactic and to take some compromising photos of the barely clothed pop star.
They don't like phony things trying to be in the Fantastic Four, no.
But they will take a buck or two from TMZ for these salacious photos.
They were not counting on an actual superhero to be present, though. So they start to run.
Back at the Baxter Building, in the absence of any other way to verify the identity of this old man from space, the team has brought in Wyatt Wingfoot, Johnny Storm's oldest and bestest friend. And after 20 minutes of chatting with the old man, Wyatt declares that he is the real McCoy.
Great, I just got you off talking about Cable, and now you're talking about this being Beast.
Ah, well, close enough. And on a side note, I think that you're being intentionally obtuse about this.
Medusa is as skeptical as Jeff, but She-Hulk validates Wyatt's credentials. She also points out that all of the tech that Reed has built in the building recognizes this guy as Johnny Storm, even, and especially the Human Torch's special safe that no one can or would ever want to open, except for Johnny.
Yeah, because that's where he keeps all of his...
Yeah, all of it, including his little black books.
You.
Okay, everyone is accepting now that this old dude is who he says he is and what his story is. That means that the rest of the original Flavor Fantastic Four may actually be dead or gone.
Meanwhile, in another high-rise,
home of the Fighting Benny Hill music.
Yakety sax is indeed blaring as the 3 hoodlums bellow out, "Yancey Street!" Then bound down the hall and into a stairwell.
Scott is pulling Darla into the chase, informing her that her assailants are the worst kind of jerks. Internet jerks.
Hey, I'm an internet jerk.
And you are the worst. While Scott has no trouble tripping down a flight of stairs, Darla pulls away, grabs the front of her towel, and hops on an elevator.
And the middle-aged lady on the elevator lets out an, "Oh my."
In the stairwell, Scott is caught up to the Yancey Street faux things and rips the bellhop jacket off one of them at the same time that Darla busts in from below and door smacks the other 2 internet jerks with a
Zom!
Darla gives herself a self-high-five over her fallen foes and collects their phones while still tucking in her towel, and Scott scans the space for the nearest defibrillator because how many stairs are hard on an old man?
No time for dying. We got the third hooligan to assault before he sells his pictures to the highest internet sleazeball, not named Jeff. So they all quickly race out of the exit and onto the street.
Wit.
If you were wondering what that sound effect wit is, that would be the overarching cacophony that is Times Square at midnight on the first moments of the year 2013.
Not to be confused with the sound effect what, which was from the Bernstein Bar Mitzvah of 2010. Other than that, they are very similar.
The good news for the overdressed Ant-Man and the barely dressed Darla is that no one really cares who or what they are in all this confused ticker-tape party atmosphere. The bad news is that the normal Joe who is wearing a cheap costume store mask can just disappear into the bedlam.
We now have a touching moment where Scott can plead his case that the rest of the Fantastic Four are not coming back, and they are what is left, and he knows this is the right thing to do. Also, when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life superheroing with someone, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
Rick, did you just crib from When Harry Met Sally?
Don't forget, I'm also just a boy standing in front of a girl asking her to be a superhero with him.
And that's Notting Hill. Man, what are you doing?
Just setting the vibe, man. There they are together, her hand on his chest and his hand cradling her face as the two of them inch closer and closer together. A bath towel slowly slipping. I mean, we just need some sappy love music playing and these two would start lip-locking.
Well, you know what? I guess you're right about the vibe, and it holds. Well, right until Scott mumbles some powerful and special words to Darla.
I love you?
What? No! He says that they're gonna go kill Dr. Doom.
In some contexts, a mood killer. For others, like the beginning strings of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
Back at the Baxter Building, the full family is together, the replacement four and their young charges.
And Dragon Man.
Scott is giving a PowerPoint presentation showing the new direction he is steering the group's powers towards. Ending Dr. Doom. He is looking for a hard target search of every idea, theory, hypothesis, conjecture, supposition, speculation, and proposition on the utter destruction of Doom.
It's good to have a hobby.
John Storm agrees most heartily.
I agree that this comic has a cover, and I think we should discuss it in the themes of this issue, starting with the cover credits. Speaking in a old man's voice that has seen some stuff, we have John Storm with this bodysuit that goes up right to his hairline with his gray hair hanging down over top of him, a rip on the side.
It's like Ricochet's costume.
Yeah, a little bit like Ricochet's costume. A rip on the side, his hand up saying, "Stop this nonsense." And he is proclaiming, "The FF is dead if you guys don't listen to me."
Yeah, that's the little cheat right there, because he came in at the end of last issue saying, Fantastic Four's dead and I'm alive. And now he's like, the FF is dead. Unless you listen to me, I mean, he could be fine. There's the cheat at the bottom there.
It's another all-red cover, so more of his art not only on the cover, but also inside. This is fine. You don't see it that often anymore with characters saying something on the covers. So, I don't know, it kind of sticks out at me a little bit like this, and I don't know if I necessarily like it. I almost think that it would be much cooler if we just had his character like this. I almost like the character by itself. I think that would have been pretty cool without him saying this. I don't know, it gives a promise of the issue, which I guess it does happen. I just don't know if I like it enough. What's your thoughts?
The way that they've been doing the covers, that Allred's been doing the covers of these comics, they have a very, I'm trying to remember what the comic series were, The Freak? Mm-hmm. They give me that kind of comic book cover vibe, where they're all of them, they're interesting, but they're all a little off, but they're very loud and there.
It's a neo-pop culture-esque type of a design and function.
Yep. I could see there being word balloons and words here, but I think that it should have just stopped with the FF is dead.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better if he had cut out the if you guys don't listen to me, because you're like, oh, because that's grabbing. That's gripping. That's like, the FF is dead. Oh, man. Oh, no. What's going on? I better read this. But then they just cut the legs out from underneath it by saying, if you guys don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're alive then. Okay. That's a threat non-realized.
Yeah, and so I don't know where it goes from here, where it should go from here, but there's something that's taken away from what could be a very cool looking cover, especially with this character. I would more like to say, the FF has a new visitor? Something like that. Like, who is this guy? You know, is it John Storm? Is this really him? What's happening? What's going on with this guy, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Something borrowed, something blue. There's any number of things. Any number of things, yeah.
I like that.
So, because it's the dark blue costume, and it could be borrowed by somebody, so who knows who it could be.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And by elephant in the room, I mean everybody's just taking a shower. everybody's taking a shower.
It's shower days.
Oh.
It's just everybody's got their stink on. They've had rough, long days, and they just need to get cleaned up and wrap themselves in a barely there thing. From Johnny putting his wet towel on the couch next to him while man-spreading
and drip drying right on the carpet.
Yeah. We're wearing a not really tied-on robe.
Yeah.
And then Darla's perpetually slipping yet giving good coverage towel.
I mean, this guy is just standing or sitting here, all the kids in front of him, and just like, so let me tell you a story here.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, the terry cloth coming down to your upper thighs, it's not doing it for me, man. It's not doing it. An arrogant gust of wind from the AC is going to do something to a lot of kids here, all right? That's all I'm saying. Can we wait for the interrogation until he puts on some pants? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's all I'm asking for.
Yes, interviews can be post-pants.
I mean, we waited for him to take a shower. I think we can wait another 30 seconds for pants.
You can give him 10 more minutes to pick an outfit or something. Johnny's clothes are still around. I bet they'd fit.
I get it that he probably locked his room, but Bentley's here. He can bust in if he hasn't already busted into his room. I mean, come on.
Well, he should be able to get into his room anyway because the building recognizes him.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have, I don't know, the more salacious scene because it's longer. We have Darla fresh out of the shower, fresh off the stage. She's got her hair wrapped up. She's got the one towel just tied across her. And it's time for a chase scene.
Yes, obviously.
Down a long staircase.
Superheroes keep on trying to force her into a square peg, man, or a square hole, round hole, whatever. It's just because they're just like, now it's time for us to chase these hooligans down. Come with me, lady in towel.
And there was no, if we think about this, there was no reason for her to go on the chase. In fact, Ant-Man has got a lot of other things he could be doing here to catch up with these guys when he's not worrying about her.
Yeah, he's parkouring down the stairways and leaping over banisters and things like that. It's very action forward and cool. He could have shrunk and dropped down the center area, or there's a number of things he could have done. He could have heroed better, considering he has his ribbon tech to let him fly. And
not taking along the barely clothed pop star who really doesn't want to be here anyways.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, we need to get these photos and videos that these people have taken to keep her from being exposed to the public eye for this nudity that they're generating on her. So we should run her publicly in a towel through Times Square.
Through a crowded building and then through Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Yep. It's equal measures awesome and ridiculous and dumb and brilliant. It's just that towel's doing a lot of work, is all I'm saying.
Not is doing a lot of work. The towel's just there for the ride, my friend.
Yeah, that fold over of the fabric is doing a whole lot of work, and it doesn't seem like it wants to be on the job. So
now, I have been known to take a shower or two in my day.
Just one or two, though.
Just one or two. And I used to have roommates, too. I think I always used to take my clothes in the bathroom. That's how we kind of did things. But there were times going to public places or something where I took a shower and I had a towel and I put the towel around me and I did one of those little knots in there, one of those tuck-in knots. I think my record was 5 steps before that knot gave way.
Yep.
I have never understood movies or TV shows where I've seen people walking around willy-nilly like they are wearing Superman's costume in front of them when they've got that one little push-in knot. I don't understand how it works. Maybe that's a skill I was never taught before. Maybe it's a special seaman's knot that they teach you in advanced showering, and I missed that class that day. I don't know.
It's movie magic. Movie towel magic.
You say that, but, I tell you, I don't know.
I get you, though, on towel knot slipping. Yeah, it is definitely a thing where you're like, yeah, I got this totally set up. We're all awesome. Nope, that's down. Hold on, I'll just rewrap that around. No, it's fallen. Maybe if I'll just grab a fistful and run up to the bedroom.
We have the Yancey Street Gang back, which is cool times. It's always nice to see them in, causing chaos and mayhem wherever they may roll. I don't know. We've talked about them before. This is, I think the last time they showed up was more of a Yancey Street yuppie gang. that was giving Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm a little bit of grief right on Ben Grimm's day off. This one is more of the old school Yancey Street gang of we're some toughs, we're from Yancey Street, and we want to give the Thing some grief.
Yep, they hassle him and prank him.
Yeah.
They are. Ben used to be the leader of the Yancey Street gang, and since he got all highfalutin and they feel he's above his station and forgotten his roots because he left the gang and left Yancey Street and became a world-famous fighter pilot and world-famous cosmic adventurer and everything, they're like, he's a fake one now, so we got to prank on him all the time, so...
Talk about not letting it go. 60 years they've been holding on to this grudge.
Generationally as well.
I mean, the Chicago Cubs, they finally at one point in time said, you know what? We're going to forgive the goat and the curse. They were able to see past it at one point in time. I think that this gang needs to just let it go because it's working out badly.
I was reading a thing that I thought was interesting. It has become generational where like the original members' kids are now taking up the mantle of harassing Ben Grimm. But a thing that I thought was interesting on that is that they were saying it might be being kind of encouraged, not so much to be upset with Ben, but to keep the kids out of being in a different type of trouble where they could expend their kind of like hooligan ways on an indestructible force that doesn't really seem to care.
Yes, but I think we can also say that hooligans are there for a reason, and it's to give everybody a hard time, not just one person. Moloids and Mole Man. We got more intrigue. What might have been just a one-off kind of thing with the Mole Man coming up and doing a rehash of the 1963 Fantastic Four #1. It's actually a little more convoluted than that. This is a deal between the Moloids and the Mole Man for the Starheart thing.
Which is a 1 foot by 1 foot black cube of heaviness. It is.
I think the words you're looking for it's a MacGuffin that has been placed in here by Matt Fraction.
I think that might be what it is officially entitled. They needed to get the MacGuffin.
Yeah. A MacGuffin has been introduced in the second issue. We're now seeing the fertilizer or water being laid down upon the MacGuffin that's been planted in the field.
Yep, it is a plot device made out of pure plutonium.
It's my favorite type. I also like that in a breaded form that I can have as snacks. I like deep frying my MacGuffins.
It's pretty good. Yep, they're good when you've done them in flaky layers with butter.
All right, what else do you want to talk about?
I mean, we could go back onto towel talk, but I think we could move past that because I'm sure it's going to pop back up in our Gallery of Greatness discussion.
I don't want to talk about things popping up with towels, okay? Let's just move along, shall we? Move along.
Yes, let's do that.
All right. Final thoughts. Let's get into our Gallery of Greatness, and let's get back into talking about the towels, because you're right. They're nothing but going to be coming up again and again and again. Yes. My backup great piece of art one here is Wit. And this is specifically the panel where we get the sound effect Wit, and it's where Darla dives out this door that she saw this Yancey Street ganger go out of, and there is confetti coming down, and she does a skid, skid, skid. And let's talk about that amazing towel work that's happening now, because this towel, gravity and physics and everything like that, it's still back 2 feet where she was running and started to stop. And so the towel is kind of pulling back, and once again, the strength of that little tuck knot.
Yep.
Amazing.
Amazing. Masterful.
Superman's cape around his neck does not have that kind of tension.
It is true. It is true.
What is happening here?
It's a great towel. Oh, well, there's a Comic Codes Authority in.
Oh, that's what's holding it up. There's comic. Nope. I got it. I found it. At the front of this book, there is something that is holding the towel up, and it's the rated T+. The rated T+ is holding the towel up in its position. Teen. T is for teen. What do you have for your backup joke one?
My joke backup one is the very first panel on page 3 of Marvel Unlimited, and I call it the dampest man spread.
I call it man spreading and splaining.
Yep, it is a still damp from his shower John Storm sitting on a couch with a big old spread going on and a short terry cloth robe.
That's my top joke one. Man spreading and splaining. That's it.
It's my backup one.
Whew.
It cracks me up.
What is more funny than that one to you?
That would be on page 9, which I call I Think I'm Having a Fever Dream.
Fair enough.
And that is at Darla Deering's concert, where she is in a kind of a white thigh-high boots and a pink kind of cutout one-piece bikini kind of thing, and a elephant head backpack, and all the other musicians and dancers and everything have some sort of like stuffy, colorful rainbow animal head costume on while looking all scanty and delicious, and except for some of the other dancers who are just, I don't know, full body suits. They just look like things. It's kind of a Katy Perry-esque concert experience, but just nuts.
I was going to say, this is Lady Gaga had a child with David Bowie, and they left it in Japan to be raised by the J-pop, K-pop crowd.
Okay, I can see that.
That's what we're talking here.
I believe it. Yep, it's good. It's a fever dream. It's just, what am I seeing?
Woo!
Well, what's your backup?
My backup good art, and this is a bit of a cheat, but I'm going to go with it because it's a splash page, even though it's 4 panels, and it's the death of the FF.
Oh, it's a good one.
I can't pick any one quadrant of this. It's just very, very cool because, like, there is no words. And we've had a lot of discussions on Allred's art, but I think that this is a beautiful part of Allred's art right here, where he shows the 4 things that happen to the members of the Fantastic Four, and there's no words except for John Storm's down there saying, I ran, for years I ran. But he's not talking about what's happening to him there. You see the action that's happening to him there. He's just saying what happens after.
Yeah.
There's no description, there's no words to describe what's happening to each of these people, but you know what's happening to them. And it's wonderful.
You know that they got hunted down by the annihilating conqueror Doom, and how each one of them ended. Who knows how long it took to get to that stage, but that's where their ends were. Yep.
What do you have?
My best backup one is on page 10. It is the middle panel, and I call it The Eyes Have It.
I call it I Spy. That's my top one.
Very nice. It's a good one. Yeah, this is where Darla Deering is looking at the very cheap potted plant that has a note on it that turns out it was from Scott. And Scott's actually there on the flower, and he's all excited. Scott's on the flower, and he's all excited because Darla's there, and he's like, oh boy, she saw him. Because he's got a whole clever rom-com plan of getting her back where she'll see the flower and read the note and be like, I am part of the Fantastic Four. So, but it's just good. Yeah. It's just that perspective and seeing the tiny person and the giant person. It's great.
It's an Eon Flux level, and you can really see all the veins in the eye and everything like that. Yeah. Very kind of cool. What's your top
rated one is on page 19 of Marvel Unlimited, and I call it Ring in the New Year. And it's the big splash page, and it's the New Year's Eve, and all the confetti's going off, the fireworks are going off, and you have Darla and Scott in the middle of this massive crowd, and it's just neat. It's really good. It's neat to see all the confetti flying around and all the colors going around.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. There's a lot of color and action. You feel the frantic nature of 12 o'clock New Year's and all the people in the crush of crowds. It's pretty cool. It's very nice and interesting. Let's get into rubber and glue motes. Let's talk about what the best or most childish insult in this silly, silly, dumb book is. And I don't mean it that way. I actually like this book. I just want to throw an insult in there. My backup one is, of course, the Yancey Street game coming in and laying it down and saying, Yancey Street says hi, you dummies.
Yep, they hate the thing so much that they transition to somebody who's going to take their place, because you're not the real thing.
Yeah. Yancey Street says hi, dummies.
Dummies, that's a good one.
It's a good insult. What do you got?
It's on page 7 of Marvel Unlimited, and it's when the Moloids are handing over the Starheart to Mole Man, and they tell him, don't tell us why you want it. That way we need not lie when you require rescue. Which you will, because you are you, and we are us.
Yeah.
I just thought that was... Yeah, later on, one of them was actually going, oh man, that was kind of cold. That was kind of harsh when you said don't contact us anymore and everything too, but yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at that one at one point in time. It wasn't as good of a dig as dummies. I like it when they just are clear and concise. Going back to that entire flight towards the Yancey Street gang guys, Scott's comment, sure we do. They're jerks. They're internet jerks. Come on. Not just jerks. Very specific here. Internet jerks.
Internet jerks.
We know what those are. They are the worst kind of jerks.
They are. Not speaking from any kind of self-knowledge.
What's your top one?
My top one is on page 3, and it's when John Storm's laying out what's going on and how they have to kill Doom. So all the kids in the FF are there, and so Scott says, kids, go to bed. Alex responds with, it's 4:30, and I'm 19, and it's New Year's. Then go find the Moloids, Alex. No. Fine. It's like Scott trying to just get the kids out of the situation. Alex is just like, nah.
Nah, we're good.
We're can't boss me around. I'm an adult.
We're good right here. Thanks, man. Come back and see me a little bit later. Actually, let's talk a little bit more about that one in the Parent of the Year Award, the Reed Richards Award for Good Parenting. I'm going to bring that up because I'm going to talk about Scott and how Scott is failing as a parent this time because, well, what's your job, Scott? To take care of these kids. All right? First of all, telling the kids to go to bed, which he wasn't, it was dumb. It was a dumb move to begin with. And then realizing that, you know what? He's got, not only does he make a mistake telling them to go to bed then, but like you said, Alex pulls out all the power that he's got. And so it makes him look ineffectual and bad. So thank you, Scott. The one panel shows us that you kind of inept on this one here.
Yeah, he's phoning in the parenting aspect he's supposed to do. He gave up real quick, and as a parent, I kind of get it. But man, yeah, he kind of failed on that. I was thinking Scott originally, but I'm going to go for a different parent, and that is a parent by the name of Mole Man.
Okay.
I'm going to say that he's being a bad parent because he contacted his terrible truant children, his tykes that are up in the Future Foundation, wanting them to help him do one more job kind of thing.
I'm actually not entirely convinced that he called them. It actually, the way I was reading that, they contacted him because he said, I've upheld my end of the bargain. And it just kind of feels like this was their idea, especially since they're like, we needed him to start doing this to make
the distraction so that we could get the thing. It is hard to read because my take on it is from the last interaction they have, which is them saying, don't contact us again.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like he got in touch with them. He had something over them. Maybe he'd totally grant their freedom, or who knows.
I don't think there was even anything over them because they didn't need to take the call.
Why would they do the job then? Why would they do the theft?
That's why the only reason they would do the theft was because we need to contact him or we need a distraction. So however it came about, but this was, I think that they were the ones who needed this first because they wanted to get their family together. They needed a distraction to bring them together. I don't know.
I'm curious. I'm sure it'll pop up again in the future.
Probably.
I'm sure there'll be some denouement coming up in X number of issues on this.
But let's move on to the popular and shunned. Identify the character who was the best and the worst in this issue. And speaking of the worst, I'm going to go ahead and go with Moloids.
What? Rick? No. How? Why? Also, Moloids for me, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing. They're causing trouble. They're thinking that they're smarter than a box of raisins. It's dumb for them to do that anyways. There's a lot of destruction that the Mole Man can cause on this. So this is a dumb idea. And then just well, thanks a lot. Here's something that we really don't know what it does, but we're going to give it to you for one unknown reason. Y'all need to know your place, all right? And this is not your place. So, yeah.
I did like it when they emotionally latched on to Muscle Mommy Jen. Strong. The Jen.
Yeah, that's going to come back, I think.
I'm sure that's going to be problematic as well, but it made me laugh.
Who do you have for the best in this issue, the most popular?
Oh, well, she's obviously popular. She's a pop star.
Oh, you've got Darla.
I've got Darla.
That's kind of funny because I have Darla's towel.
Okay, I'm giving it to Darla by extension of the towel. It's her proximity to the towel, which is why I'm saying, Darla's pretty great. But yeah, I have my very weak reasons, but they're basically towel-based, yes. So tell me why Darla's towel is your top chart.
Because Darla's towel is doing the superhero's work. It's doing God's work in this issue. It is keeping this issue from becoming pornographic by nature. Or it's keeping the printer from putting a lot of black bars onto places.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah,
That towel is just beyond, man.
Yeah, that towel is not naughty by nature. I will approve of your ridiculous choice of Darla's towel, but again, by extension, I'm picking Darla because of that towel and other reasons.
Behind the scenes here, sometimes I get ahead in writing up the scripts and setting things up, and I set up all of my superlative stuff ahead of time, and then I don't look at it again. I have not looked at this page of notes since I got this out about week or 2 weeks ago. And so when I'm reading down and I all of a sudden read down Darla's towel, I had to stop myself from busting up laughing at my past self because I thought that was a good trip mine that I set up for myself right here and now.
It's fun when you're impressed by, hey, Past Me's got it going on. Way to go, Past Me.
Past Me had a funny idea. Current Me hadn't put that together. Past Me's a genius.
Ooh, what clever word usage. That's great, old me. Neat. I'm so glad that I discovered it, current me.
Let's talk about top grades. We want to evaluate this issue against other issues that don't have towels as cool as Darla's towel. So let's say spot 11. That's FF Volume 1, number 19, Safari. That's where the kids meet Onome for the first time. Spot number 34, Protective Service, where the Academy kids become prison guards for the X-Teens from Avengers Academy. Spot number 40, we've got Avengers Academy 37, Final Exam Part 4. Finesse kills Germian. Julie punches a rocket. I forgot about that. Avengers Academy 38 was Crosstown Rivals, Avengers versus the Academy versus Jean Grey School in a flag football match. It's a fun issue. And spot number 73, All Hope Lies in Doom. Too many kids. Kids show up in Latveria for Coco in secret plots. We have been hovering the last two issues of this around spot 25 and 26.
25 and 26. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's where I was going to start our gaze at. What do we think about this and compared to the previous two issues? Because I'm going to tell you, I like this issue. I thought it was really pretty good.
I like it too, but I think we're starting to talk about plot things. There's things that are occurring. We're laying a lot of seeds. It's good. It's fun. It's just not... It's maintaining and building things for the future, so it's not really putting a lot more stuff in there. So I think we can go down a little bit. It's not really moving a lot forward. It's interesting, and I think that we're starting to go places with it, but there's nothing amazing or outstanding besides Darla's Towel.
Well, we also find out that this is old John Storm. We found out what happened to the rest of the Fantastic Four. We found out who the big adversary is going to be. Got the plot point of we're going to move on to killing Doom.
I mean, it's not bad. I just think that it's going to go down a little bit further here.
All right, well, spot 27 is Spider-Man 659, where the FF are on a beach singing Beastie Boys songs.
I was looking a little bit further down than that. Let's go down to spot 33. We've got Avengers Academy 27. That's where the Runaways want their dino back.
It was fun, but they never communicated anything to anybody.
No. I think that's a good basement there. Going up a little bit.
Beating of drums. How do you defeat a plethora of reeds? Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Issue number 4.
Up on spot 31, we've got World Eater. That's where the Baxter buildings and Fest is. Sue is keeping the peace, and Galactus wants a snack. There's a lot of cool stuff going on that.
There's a lot of stuff there, yeah.
And it's moving a lot forward. So I think somewhere between 31 and 33, where are you feeling? I guess 32 or 33. Where do you want it?
I'm trying to remember what happened in the beating of drums. And how do you defeat a bunch of reeds? Yeah. Since I'm having a hard time remembering what happened in that, it makes me think that this is a little bit better than it. Okay. I remember the title Beating of Drums, but I can't remember what happened in there. So I would say that this could be the new 32.
I'm okay with that. Let's talk a little bit about our beer for the evening, if we can. And this beer was Sparks by Threshold Brewing and Blending, brewed in Portland, Oregon. I'm still liking it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a pleasant beverage. I've been tipping it into my mouth. I've been emptying the can back into the glass. The can's now empty. The glass is about half full at this stage. I'm looking forward to drinking more of it. It's a fine beverage. I would drink more. It doesn't blow me out of the water. It's not one that I would perpetually hunt down and stock in the fridge all the time. It's my generic 3.5.
Yeah, I think I might join you with that one. It probably is close to a 4 for me, but it's not wow factor. I would say that this would be something I would easily accept by if I liked IPAs a bit more. If I had no other choice, I could go with this one. It's not bad at all. It's quite enjoyable. So
I would be fine with having an evening of drinking this, where it's just like, oh, my beer's done, and go to the fridge and getting another one. I would be more than willing to do that. This is not a one and done kind of beverage for me. Again, there's other things that I prefer to have. It's a fine beer. It's a great beverage. I like that it's local. The can's neat. Got things going for it. Like I said, 3.5. You're 3.5. I think you're a higher 3.5 than mine. Mine's pretty flat 3.5.
All right.
There we go.
Sounds good to me.
But what doesn't hit a flat note for me is kids' perspective, and that's where Rick talks to his 14-year-old daughter, Carrie, about the issue that we just covered. So Rick and Carrie, take it away.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Daddy.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for asking. I really appreciate that.
Wow. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this book that you just read. What did you think about FF number 3?
It was pretty cool. I didn't like the parts where Darla was, only wrapped in towels. That made me feel kind of uncomfortable, and she was out there in the world just with only a towel around her, kept slipping at some parts. It made,
That's not your cup of tea, huh?
No, it's not.
You like to be well covered when out in public.
Yeah, I just like to be well covered.
There was quite a bit of showers going on here, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Because she took a shower and old John Storm took a shower.
And then, I don't know if this really counts as a shower, but Ant-Man and Darla got showered in fudge or whipped cream or whatever that was.
That's true. They also got showered in confetti.
That looked like weird confetti.
That was out when they got to New York Square, the confetti too. So, yeah, there's a lot of showers. We missed the last couple of those ones too. But so besides Darla being indecent, what else did you think about the issue? What other things stood out to you?
When it was showing the Fantastic Four going through things, I just always find it, I know I'm not supposed to find it funny, but I think it's just always really hard to portray Reed Richards using his powers and getting injured in a very serious manner. Because he's so flexible, and so you can see the little wibbly wobblies of his, really, noodly arms, and it's just really hilarious to me, even though it's not supposed to be. Okay,
that's fair. So, during the horrific scene where Fantastic Four are dying, you were laughing.
In my head, yeah.
Okay.
It's just really hard to, stare at that. It's just funny to me, because it's not supposed to be. I know it, but in my head, I was laughing, yeah.
Going back to Darla, what do you think about Darla being part of the team now? Do you think she's starting to accept being part of the team? Do you like her being there?
I think they should have chosen someone who was probably more qualified.
I would agree, but here's the thing. The writer chose not to pick somebody like that. Instead, he chose to pick Darla. What do we think about that?
I think she's getting there. She didn't want to be part of it, really, anymore. She just felt like she just couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. A lot of the negativity. I think if she worked hard enough, she could probably fit in better, yeah, in the team. She, stopped, walking out on it and actually, tried.
What else did you like or dislike, or do you have questions about?
Oh, I like that Doom, King of the Conqueror, and Annihilus kind of match in that one panel. They're kind of matchy-matchies. Actually, Doom is the one who stands out the most because, he didn't show up with, the magenta and green. He showed up with gray and green. So I'm just saying, kind of missed the dress code there, but...
But then they joined forces and they became one entity, right?
Yeah. Then he's got the magenta.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about with this issue?
I think that one page where, Darla's singing and there's, those dancers behind her, I think that's creepy. Okay.
Okay. Yep. No, that's fair. That's kind of what we said on that one too. So that is perfectly fair.
It's oh my gosh, that one music video that just got published, just came out? Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it was a little terrifying, wasn't it?
It was like a horror movie, and then she had an elephant head on her back, and yeah, I don't know.
No, that's fair opinion. That's kind of what we said too, so.
Okay, now I'm done.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Carrie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for joining us, Carrie, but I have a question for you. Where were you during New Year's Eve on 2013?
Well, probably doesn't remember much. She doesn't remember much from last week, but we'll find out. For now, let us shout out, because we like to recognize those listeners that take time to leave us a review, and this is for episode 173, FF23 Run, final issue of the Volume 1 of FF. Do you want to start us off, Jeff?
I will, because it's a name we barely ever hear. It's Hillary Trzynka, my fiancée.
I wanted you to say it because I can't say the last name. And also Hoover Jeremiah.
Jason Albrick and the Long Box Crusade Network.
Jeff Bollier.
Jeremy Daw.
Jerry McMullen and their podcast, The Worst Podcast Ever.
Stephen Gray.
Tim Price, The Podcrasher, and their podcast, The Outcasters.
Sean Fwip.
We also like to thank those lovely listeners that go onto our Patreon and give us a few bucks to keep doing this show. That includes adorably astonishing and amazing Andrew Burns.
Cheerfully cheeky and charming Char Logan.
Challenging, cheesy, and chuckling Charles Gears.
Destructive and devastatingly delightful Damian Witter.
Dynamically dangerous and devious Doug Jones.
Intelligent, interesting, and innovative Isaac Perry.
Jaunting, jubilant, and jazzy Jeff Osterritter.
Jesting, joking, and jovial Jeff Polier.
Just jealous and jeweled Jeremy Daw.
Muscly, mighty, and meticulous Matthew Birdsey.
Mythical and magnificent monologuing Matthew Laserwitz.
Deely salty and steamy Sailor Bear Zodar.
Sad and sickeningly silly Shag Matthews.
Tyrannically terrifying and tame Tim Price.
Way wordy and wobbly waffles.
Next issue, we are going to be covering Avenging Spider-Man number 17.
Actually, Pest Jeff, you are wrong. We instead are going to have an interview with the awesome Matt Fraction about FF Volume 2. Can you dig it?
No, I cannot.
Be sure to check out my daughter's comic strip on our website. Just do a search for Jeff and Rick Present Tales of Tales.
And we have some merchandise available on Redbubble. Go to redbubble.com and search for Unpacking the Power of Power Pack.
Jeff and Rick Present is a bi-weekly self-produced podcast recorded in front of a live studio audience of a beer in Portland, Oregon. If you would like to interact with us through the magic of the internet, you can do so through Blue Sky at Jeff and Rick Present, our Facebook page, Jeff and Rick Present, our email address, Jeff and Rick Present, all one word at gmail.com, or at our website, jeffandrickpresent.wordpress.com. Also, our YouTube channel is at Jeff and Rick Present.
And if you would like to help support our show, we are on Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com, Jeff and Rick Present, all one word. We are also a proud supporter of the Hero Initiative, and we'll be donating 10% of our Patreon donations to this great cause. We encourage everyone to give what they can to this worthwhile organization that helps the creators who provide us with such great content. Go to heroinitiative.org to find out more.
Please rate and review us wherever you can, tell your friends about us, or share your love for us in social media.
And as always, we want to thank the powerful people in our packs.
My wife Cindy and our daughter Carrie.
My fiancée Hillary and our daughter Aurora. We love you. Until next time. Costumes off.
Our theme music is 80s Action by Kevin MacLeod. Also featured in this episode is the most shocking Halloween trailer 18. All music is found at incompetech.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license.
Me words good for speak time.
What?
In answer to that question, Scott lays out a few other directives above the disposing of a doctorally so close.
What?
The good news for the overdressed Ant-Man and the barely dressed Darla is that no one really cares who or what they are in this confused ticker tape party. I ran out of air. The good news for the overdressed Ant-Man and the barely dressed Darla is that no one really cares who...
What?
Jeff and Rick Present is a bi-weekly self-produced podcast recorded in... Let me do it again.
What?
Hillary's cooking, so a smoke alarm went off at the perfect time.
So that's the timer then.
Dinner's ready. Also, call the fire department.